in 2012, Disney's John Carter hit the big screen and quickly became known as one of the biggest box office flops in history. But could another movie be to blame for its failure? Total Recall, the 1990 sci-fi classic, shared similarities with John Carter, leaving audiences questioning the originality of the latter. Did Total Recall's influence hinder John Carter's success, or were there other factors at play? Let's dive deeper into the connection between these two films and unravel the mystery behind John Carter's failure and the possibility of the next movie. Not one, but two movies. John Carter was actually planned to be a trilogy. Can you believe it? The first movie did an amazing job of creating a whole interstellar universe filled with mythology, cosmic conflicts, and romance. And let me tell you, the action scenes were like CGI fireworks on steroids. It had all the ingredients of a potential franchise, so it's no wonder director Andrew Stanton wanted to keep the fantastical fun going with a full-fledged fantasy movie series. Now picture this. John Carter, a Civil War vet, mysteriously ends up on Mars. Yeah, you heard that right. Mars, the red planet. But this isn't your typical Mars. Nope. It's a desolate surface teeming with bizarre creatures and crazy landscapes. And guess what? Our man Carter can defy gravity and leap around like a cosmic kangaroo. Talking about a handy trick when you find yourself smack in the middle of a brewing war, fighting evil and becoming a certified hero. But wait, there's more. The original Edgar Rice novels provide enough source material to keep the Mars madness going with not one, but two more sequels. And to leave us hanging on the edge of our seats, the first movie ends with an Avatar-esque cliffhanger that practically screams, hey, there are more interplanetary adventures coming your way. But before we go any further, please hit the like button and subscribe now. So now, without any further ado, here's everything we know about John Carter 2 so far. According to the mastermind himself, Andrew Stanton, the second installment would have been titled Gods of Mars. It sounds epic already, doesn't it? Picture this. Just like in the first film, Lynn Collins' Deja would kick things off by narrating the prologue. She would be reminiscing about the events of the first movie, pouring her heart out into her child, Carthoris. Now here's the twist. Deja believes that Carthoris will never get the chance to know his father, the legendary John Carter. But wait! Things take a wild turn when Ciarán Hinds, Tardos Mors, swoops in and takes the child from her. Oh, the suspense. But hold your Martian horses, because guess who Tardos Mors really is? None other than Matai Shang, played by the talented Mark Strong from the Kingsman movies. Talk about a shape-shifting twist. And just like that, the opening credits start rolling and we find ourselves right where the first film left off, John Carter returning to the planet Barsoom. Can you feel the excitement building? I know I can. Carter learns, a decade after his departure, that Deja has gone down the river in the hope that it will lead her to their abducted child. Carter follows his wife's lead after joining forces with Tars Tarkas, and soon discovers a modern underground city ruled by the Firstborn race. The Firstborns, it turns out, are devotees of goddess Isis and have been in charge of everything on the planet since its inception, from water to air, food to plants. Carter, realizing that goddess Isis is another of the shape-shifting Matai's guises, sets out to expose him to the Firstborns and save his son. The plot of John Carter 2 reaches a climax when Carter nearly kills his own son, who has been genetically advanced by Matai into an adult superhuman warrior. Finally, Deja, Carter, and their son reunite, and the three races, the Red, the Green, and the Firstborn, join forces to defeat the Therns. Now up next is the story of John Carter 3, titled Warlord of Mars, which unveils a race against time as Carter embarks on a mission to locate and stop the Therns, a group determined to destroy the entire planet. The Therns employ their shape-shifting abilities to masquerade as leaders of different Martian factions, manipulating them into conflict. Amidst this chaos, Deja creates a device capable of identifying the Therns in their disguises, but the Therns are always a step ahead, destroying her invention. Tragically, they also kill John Carter, played by Taylor Kitsch, unaware that he is actually a duplicate while the real Carter awakens on Earth. On Earth, Edgar comes to Carter's rescue, wielding his shotgun against the Thern Pinkertons and aiding his return to Mars. With the threat of a global war looming in the background, Carter and his family embark on a perilous journey to reach the highest point on Earth, following the trail left by the Therns. Along the way, John encounters Matai and emerges victorious, ultimately saving the planet and rightfully claiming the title of Warlord of Mars. Now, why have John Carter sequences never seen the light of day? The sequels to John Carter never saw the light of day, primarily due to the movie's failure at the box office. With a production budget of $307 million and a worldwide collection of only $281 million, the film fell short in terms of financial success. In fact, it was projected that the Walt Disney Company would face a loss of $200 million from the movie. This disappointing outcome led to John Carter being considered a significant big-budget box office flop, similar to films like Waterworld. Following the financial disappointment, Disney lost the rights to the John Carter property in 2014. As a result, any hopes for the sequels were dashed, and the promising ideas that director Andrew Stanton had for the subsequent films remained dormant. The fate of John Carter 2 and 3 is unfortunate on multiple levels, but it also serves as a valuable lesson regarding the impact that even minor changes in a film's marketing and branding can have, potentially resulting in substantial losses. Now address the elephant in the room and shed some light on why Total Recall was the reason for John Carter's failure. The failure of Disney's 2012 film John Carter at the box office can be attributed to various factors, and one significant influence was the 1990 sci-fi film Total Recall. Both movies shared Mars as a setting, and Total Recall had already explored similar themes and concepts, making it challenging for John Carter to stand out as fresh and original. Total Recall presented Mars with a complex storyline and memorable scenes, creating a dilemma for the screenwriters of John Carter. As a result, they crafted an overly complicated plot that failed to resonate with audiences. Despite the rich source material from Edgar Rice Burroughs' Barsoom series, Total Recall's prior impact on the sci-fi genre created hurdles for the adaptation of John Carter, ultimately leading to its disappointing box office performance. Total Recall, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, was a violent sci-fi thriller set primarily on a colonized Mars. While loosely based on a short story by Philip K. Dick, the film expanded the concept to fill a feature-length format. It introduced new scenes, characters, and ideas, shifting the plot's focus from the protagonist's discovery of implanted memories to a larger conspiracy on Mars. The stakes were elevated with the inclusion of a terrorist plot to destroy the planet's atmosphere, and one of the film's most memorable moments involved characters struggling to breathe the Martian air, resulting in bulging eyes and distorted faces. Similarly, Burroughs' A Princess of Mars also depicted a climax centered around the loss of atmosphere on Mars. In the book, the protagonist risks his life to save the planet's atmosphere plant, seemingly succumbing to asphyxiation in the process. Adapting this storyline for John Carter without appearing as a total copy of Total Recall would have been challenging due to the latter's iconic scene. Instead, John Carter's screenwriters introduced a complex political backdrop and a narrative involving a secret society and transportation medallions. However, this approach resulted in an overly convoluted story that failed to capture the essence of Burroughs' books and connect with audiences. It is worth noting that Disney attempted to produce a Barsoom adaptation as early as the 1930s, leaving one to wonder what could have been if Total Recall had not preceded John Carter. We might have had a whole franchise like Star Wars or something. I don't know. Let me know your take on it in the comments section.